Started in Northeast Wisconsin schools just days apart, one in Oshkosh, one in Neenah. It's a story Action 2 News has been following all week. Emily Roberts joins us live outside Neenah High School after speaking to school security experts, thankful for the reporting of potentially dangerous situations. Emily.
The communications director for the Neenah Joint School District tells me there's an extra police presence both inside and outside the building again today after a tip came in Tuesday that led officers to find a gun inside the school. And in Oshkosh, officers found a different gun thanks to a student's report on Monday.
They should be really happy that someone came forward, that students are listening to the message and they are coming forward. They are saying something.
Barbara Dorff works on school security assessments across Northeast Wisconsin. She says culture and comfort are key to maintaining a safe environment.
Our students developing relationships with an important adult so that if something were to come to their attention, that something bad might happen to the school, then would they be willing to tell that trusted adult?
Having a climate where students are encouraged to report, and that reporting is happening as we're seeing, as with some of these recent incidents, that's a positive sign. It means that students are taking action and doing what they need to do to keep their schools safe.
The Department of Justice's Office of School Safety trains educators and law enforcement to respond to security concerns. That training includes threat assessment protocol.
That sounds a little scary, but what it really is distinguishing between something that might come up typically in the class and isn't really a danger to somebody's safety from something that does pose a risk to people's safety. A student improperly having access to firearms, for example.
School safety experts say they're seeing more readiness in students to report potentially dangerous situations.
Tips are coming in. Tips have come in that have saved schools from what could have been a very serious situation. So we're seeing more of a willingness of students to speak up and to speak out.
Speak Up, Speak Out. It's an app and a website making it easy for students and community members to report potentially unsafe situations in their schools. We have a link to learn more at WBAY.com/links. Live in Neenah, Emily Roberts, Action 2 News.